What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 6 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Lord Skrolk Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a pretty eventful episode saw Lord Skrolky grind up some bones to restore his Rod of Corruption, and we were able to destroy both Itza and the Wardens of the Emerald Pools, or Living Pools, or Sacred Pools, whatever pools they prefer. They get none of them now. That's all great with the lizards sort of knocked out of the central portion of Lustria. However, we've got new enemies to contend with, as the Hunts Marshal's expedition and the Thousand Maws are both against us. I was originally thinking we'd ally with Rickarth, but now with him at war with us, it may not happen, or is unlikely, I would say, to happen. On the bright side, though, as we move up towards the Isthmus of Lustria, we should be able to essentially border up with Morathi, and as long as we declare war on a few of her enemies, we should be able to be nice and friendly with her, and sort of not interfere with each other's territories. One of the, frozen climates are unpleasant for us anyway, so yeah, why bother being up there and dealing with those constant control issues? Anyway, in terms of this turn, I don't think that there's actually anything that we gotta do, really, so we can just sort of end it and hope for the best. And the best that we're hoping for right now is that a bunch of these plagues spread, because we're running out of plagueination, and we gotta make use of those pox samples. So let's hope it's something good. Alright, and come on. I wonder if it's at the end of the turn or whether it's at the beginning of the turn that they actually spread. Mutants and Shodel, and we got two guys with plague in the Sacred Pools. Alright, what do we have here? Constructor, the Savage... You gotta be kidding me, not one plague spread? Oh, game, why? Why are you like this? Why do you hate me? Anyway, not much we can do about that, I guess. Now, we were moving towards the final blessing here, which would give us that Plague of Undeath. On the other hand, well, we should use the pox samples right now, shouldn't we? I do like the harsh production quotas, don't get me wrong, but we're also losing at least one of these per turn, one of the pox samples, anyway. And, oh... Okay, looks like Marcus has already showed up and he's got two armies, and well, that should be fun for the Mutant. Mutant, I would like you... I was gonna say go into ambush, but that's not gonna work. Let's put you out here, then, a Vermich. And let's pop the Mutant in March Stance, maybe? Yeah, into the Mine of the Bearded Skulls. Maybe he can spread the plague to there. That's the dream, anyway. See if we can make it work. You can, I guess, channel, because why not? Alright, the rest of you are good. Skrolky. Now, the question is, how do we move you? We need to move you to recruit. We got, I think, 2-3 turns until the next scheme, and we're going to use the dominating scheme to get a bunch of recruits going. Now, in theory, we could use Talkside to recruit some of the stuff. I did want to use Skrolky to recruit a few of the sensor bearers now that we have available to us, but we can use... might actually want to move them together. Okay, you know what? Let's move you to Oishel for now. Huh. We could also potentially stand in Ashlodel for a moment and just hope to pick up that plague on you. Skrolky, you've got one turn remaining on the plague. Okay. You're gonna go to Ashlodel. As odd as that may seem. We don't have any kind of agreements. Well, we do have an non-aggression pact with these guys. But we are looking to eventually break it. We don't want to piss them off too much yet. Go in regular stance and stay right here. I don't think raiding their territory is going to do much for us. Mostly I just want to take the, see if we can't get that plague spread to us. I'm still unsure whether raiding their territory is frowned upon when we have a non-aggression pact or not. The AI does it all the time, but the player might actually be punished for it, I'm not sure. Anyway, Skrolky, you need to get down to Oishel as fast as you can. But it looks like you can't really reach it, so I just guess that you can go to Itza right now. Yeah, let's go to Itza. And you should still be able to make it to Oishel in one round, I hope. Or should we, you know what, let's not risk it. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't matter over much. You know what, go to Itza, save a little bit of cash, here you go. And then get that construction cost. I guess I could have kept you in the Sacred Pools, but whatever. Oh. Huh, okay, I was wondering for a second, what if the Plague stance actually prevents us from Or the plague stance. The underway stance prevents us from acquiring a new plague, but it doesn't look like it does, so I think we're fine. Anyway, let's build some stuff, and let's move everybody. It doesn't look like we're going to get a battle this turn, but with Marcus approaching with 2 armies, it should be happening relatively soon. Vermich and Ian we don't care about right now. They're kind of stuck where they are, though we could potentially move Ian out here, for example, to start raiding Bretonnian territories. I mean, it might be something to do. He does... Oh, we potentially also want him to spread his plague to the Sacred Pools, though. You know what? Move here and stay in the Sacred Pools, and then raid the next turn, I guess. So you'll lose the military presence, but... Oh, wow. It's not like we were intending to get public order here anyway. Get the Rattling Warrens up and running next turn, once we switch you to Expansionist Planning. Alright, and then raid here. Okay, that seems good. Vermich is fine, Pustin is fine, Boilroke, you are heading up north. I'm still undecided on to whether use you on Hexoatl or Heshuatl or on... Maybe Morathi? Maybe the ancient city of Quintex is a decent option as well. I'm still on the fence about it. The thing is, this is a Doom engineer, so they'll create that laboratory, which gives us a bunch of, well, I don't remember what the exact benefits are, but it does give us benefits. It's not a regular Undercity, so we should make use of it. Kugath Finder, ooh, by the looks of it at last, your journey is, well, okay, it's not done because you still have to find other rats, but you will have found Kugath at last. Alrighty, Poxmakers. -5, not so bad. It looks like they have no aversion to... Okay, actually, they probably do have aversion to Tzeentch because they hate Tzeentch, but because they have no diplomatic contact with the Flaming Scribes, they can't tell that we're allied with them, which is kind of weird, but that's the way it works. You'd think that their diplomats would sort of meet in our court or something, but anyway. I guess... Okay, we need to see what kind of deal you're willing to make. -5. It's not great. Let's declare war on Lazargs. That's not enough. Okay, I guess we have no choice but to do the Caravan of Blue Roses then. We could do military access rather than non-aggression pact and move our way towards non-aggression pact eventually. Just because it's a more expensive treaty than the non-aggression pact is. Yeah, fine, do it. Let's start with military access and we'll see about non-aggression pact later. -5, and our relationship with you is climbing. I hope that you don't just cancel the military access after this. We'll see. We'll see. And we could just ply him with gifts. Everybody loves Warpstone, right? Toxide, you are here for, well, as long as this plague is here, and I believe we just have buildings to build. Let's do a little bit of admin. Still relatively in the early game, so the admin isn't so bad. Though the food is rapidly dropping. Wulfhart, we're gonna need you to fix that up by, you know, dying for us. Southern Sentinels. You are currently in efficient planning, which is, I guess, fine. Not really anything else we could use you for. You're fine, River Curveza. With Itza. Okay, so this is the important place. We've got to go for the Taskmaster's platform. The growth is fine. There isn't a lot to build there, but that's fine as well. Mine of the Bearded Skulls. Max out the Iron Smelter and the Taskmaster's platform. And then here, I guess we're going to go for the Arcane Generators. I'm a little bit worried about the food consumption everywhere, but at the same time, we need to spam these because they all have adjacency bonuses, and the more sort of territories we have adjacent to each other, the more everything will buff everything else. You gotta do what you gotta do. And do we keep the expansionist planning? I mean, I guess we can switch for 1 turn because we need a little bit of extra growth. Alright, fine. Go to... I guess for 1 turn exploitative planning because you're not collecting any money, and then the sacred pools are fine. Alright, Lord Not Mood, building upgrade available, Garrison Lord, outpost upgrade available, and assuming that we need no heroes at the current time. Pox samples, 1 second. Maybe, where is it? Right here. Hero recruit rank +10 for Plague Priests. We could stop here and start moving towards that instead. It would also give us constant casualty replenishment, right? The other option would be to try to move towards Revel in Filth, but I'm 99% certain we won't be able to get to it in this round of Poxes. And while this is great, it's not like Lord Skrolk's army needs it for help right now, and we don't have any other Plague Monks that we're using and relying upon. So I'm going to say let's move through Strength of Pestilence and move towards Embrace the Sickness instead. and then hope to get to Nurglitch's command for that extra 10 rank for Plague Priests. That'll allow us to recruit them at rank 17, which means we can immediately get every Plague Priest up and running on a Plague Furnace, which sounds just great. In fact, I was thinking we give the Mutant a couple of Plague Priests for the purpose of being able to summon Vermintides, because he's mostly going to have pretty much all weapon teams, or weapons teams, rather. May as well get some good use out of him. Alright, and we are looking... Hello, what do we have here? Pustin gets... Ooh, badly mutated. Pustin, you just got a big promotion, my friend. What is this? Apocalyptic Vision. It's not bad. Melee attack plus 20, 10% physical resistance, and leadership before allies in range, but this makes you a powerhouse fighter, especially since he has Frontline Rat, which gives him another 50% weapon strength when attacking. Alright, Pustin, have the dust inhaled. Oh, let's give this a read. One of your Warlock engineers has found a new way to enrich Warpstone. Unfortunately, a laboratory explosion occurred the following day, leaving nothing behind but a pile of eerily glowing Warpstone dust. Have the dust inhaled. But not yourself. All of it. Warpstone is good for you. Oh, you gotta love this game and do it. Thanks, Pustin. Got a free breeder, got a free bell polisher, more plague priests. No Eshin sorcerers available to us yet, but oh wow, 3 bell polishers. That's all the plague priests we could want for now. In fact, we can't afford having that many plague priests, as they do get rather expensive when they're on the plague furnaces. Nonetheless, technology researched. Good. And the next Pox Tech is coming up. Nemesis Crown, another Vigil. You gotta be kidding me. The plague didn't spread again? Skrolk didn't get it, Itza didn't get it, Toxide didn't get it. Well, that's a little bit disappointing. A little bit disappointing, I gotta say. Skrolky. I was gonna say move you to Oishul. Wait. We could pop you in... No, it's still in Shodal. I was hoping to move to Subaton. Alright, fine. Go to Quetzal then. Just stick around. I don't know why I keep moving him in underway stance, but... yeah, I guess we'll head to Oishul next turn. We have to wait to recruit anyway for the dominating scheme, so it's not that big of a deal. Though I do hate to move away from territories where we can do stuff. You, Ian. You still have 3 turns of that plague. I'm kind of now disinclined. You know what? I'm disinclined to move away from our own territories. Go back into the Sacred Pools. You gotta try to spread that plague around. Hoping it goes to something here. Peter van Hasselt has the plague now. That's great. Doesn't help us as much as we'd like. Anyway, Mutant, you're about to get a gift, my friend. The Skaven Slave Slingers are out, and the Natty Bubos Sharpshooters are in. We're probably going to give him, like, 3 snipers and 3 rattling guns, and then see whatever else, and we can pop into his army. I guess while there's other stuff to do, we gotta get Mutant into the fight, so... Vermich, go into regular stance right here, into stalking stance. And Mutant, well, let's attack Peter van Hasselt. Do we need to change to any kind of stance? This will reduce your miscast base chance, but frankly, right now you're not really relying on dishing out magical damage so much. So let's fight the old-fashioned way. Go. And no ambush, unfortunately, but what can you do? Let's put the Banner of Clan Superiority on the Mutant and just jump on in. Pile of Skaven slaves to throw at the enemy while our rattling guns and our weapons teams all do the damage. Go. Alright, die indeed, and we can make it happen with our brand new Warplock Giselles, and joining the Rattling Guns for some fun. And these guys have those purple bullets, unlike the regular greenish Warpstone bullets, so that they'll be using to first target a little bit of the Outriders or Pistoliers back there, maybe get a few of the enemy Halberdiers knocked out, and then afterwards we can switch to firing upon the enemy Lord, and hopefully snipe him off the field. And there we go. We got a fairly nice position for ourselves here, a cliff, a defensible sort of impassable cliffside, as well as a hill, and then we can fire our weapons teams from. And there we go, targeting that enemy Lord now. Accuracy leaves something to be desired for the first volley, but it looks like the second one will hit them. We don't have a lot of crazy long range here, but of course the Mutant will be getting more Warplock Giselles and some kind of artillery in here as well. Maybe Warp Lightnings, maybe Plague Mortars, maybe Plague Claws, we'll see, or Poison Wind Mortars. We shall see. It all depends. Obviously, we don't want to build the same type of armies, but mutants going heavily into the weapons teams. I think we might want to do a separate other army that's a little bit more Poison Wind oriented, as in combining lots of Poison Wind Mortars and lots of Poison Wind Globadiers. And, ooh, looks like Kalara, was it? Yeah, looks like Kalara got upset at us firing away at them, and, well, the Lord is nearly done, so I can see why, and fired back with her arrow of Kurnos at the Warp Bronze Company, knocking out, what, 3 of those Rattling Gunners? I'm gonna have to be careful with that, as she can keep those arrows of Kurnos flying at us. And there is potential for getting hit again. Anyway, the enemy lord is, if not dead, very badly damaged or heavily damaged, and is trying to book it on out of there. We're going to start annoying the enemy further by getting those menaces below begun. The vast majority of this enemy stack, or these stacks, as range is made up of regular archers, which aren't a threat, and are certainly going to be threatened by our own clan rat summons in the middle of the formation. Is the enemy annoyed, or are they just milling around? I can't quite tell, but what I can tell is we don't want more arrows of Kurnos from Kalara, so we'll be trying to fire at her with the Anati Bibo's sharpshooters. However, she's taken a page from the Skaven book and using those pathetic man things as a meat shield. Something that the rest of the Skaven can respect. And it looks like she'll fire once again at us with that arrow of Kurnos, hitting our units again. We're going to fire right back with a Doom Rocket from our engineer. And continue firing everything else, of course, including our Rattling Guns. Those poor units of Pistoliers drew way too close, and this is not a place they want to be. And it's kind of hard to see, but they're getting absolutely obliterated here and will just completely melt and disappear off the face of the earth from our Rattling Gun fire. Not to worry, we got more enemies coming in, and that means more targets for the Rattlings. There we go, wind them up. I love their psychotic laughter as they fire, but... As well they should. That unit of Halberdiers is wavering from the first volley and down to about 10% of its HP, and the rest of those poor units will get destroyed. Once again, I've always thought that the Skaven would do very well in a World War I setting. With the machine guns, all the gas weapons... It'll work out fairly well. Anyway, in the meantime, the mutant is also doing things, and by that I mean just sort of riding around on his Doom Flare. He doesn't yet have his Doom Wheel, of course, but it's certainly enough to mince a few archers. They can't stop him. Can anybody stop him? Not so sure. Anyway, he will keep annoying them, and we've sighted Kalara now with the Rattling Guns. They were just out of range, but we activate their overload ability, and between them and the Anati Bibo's sharpshooters, Kalara goes down. We don't have to worry about more of those darn arrows of Kurnos. Few enemy units are charging forth, but our reinforcements have arrived on the field, and that means plenty of Skaven slaves to die on the front lines as the Poison Wind Globes hit both of them and the enemies. Beautiful. Swordsmen are out, there's still a few archers remaining, and there's another hero out here. Well, that's just more targets for the sharpshooters, as Ertwig Van Hal, the enemy witch hunter, attempts to move towards us, and the Rattling Guns continue to work on the enemy infantry. Couple more volleys, we'll see Ertwig out. The swordsmen are out as well. The units that are on the left flank, however, have a little bit of a better fight going for them, simply because there are the weapons teams are concentrated on the hillside, so these guys will have a nice little fight against the rats. Of course, we do have our warlord and our chieftain in here somewhere, and they'll be able to dish out damage to the spears and the basic infantry, and we're going to turn at least one of those poison wind to get a few volleys into the enemy. And into our own Skaven slaves, of course, assuming that we can get some shots through those darn trees. Alright, and it looks like Marcus Wulfhart's main stack is arriving on the field now as well. Soon, hopefully, the troops that are on the left flank will be overrun, and by the looks of it, with their first stack pretty much destroyed, they're pretty much done for as well. Mutants still riding around, death globes smashing into both enemy and our own front line alike, as it should be. Alright, charge on in. Ooh, nice shot from Marcus Wulfhart. He doesn't seem to like the mutant very much, and that does a decent bit of damage to him, so we're going to just back away lest we get hit again. We also want to be careful about the enemy unit of war wagons. War wagons are very good at sniping single entities, similar to our own snipers, and so we're going to try to knock them out with those natty buboes sharpshooters. Alright, oh yeah, I love all the colors, all the fireworks coming in from the Skaven army, and that's just begun. We'll have more different types as well as we actually build them up. WARPFIRE throwers, the plague mortars, the different colored uses, warplog Jezzails, different colored bullets, whatever. Beautiful. Alright, enemies keep charging towards our lines like it's going to matter at all, but I doubt that it is. Looks like Mr. Jorah Grimm has taken a fair few shots, though. Good for him. Not so good for the enemy infantry, however. The natty Bebo sharpshooters have nearly destroyed those war wagons. Nice volley from our Plague Claw catapults. And this last unit is perhaps using the others for cover, and that might allow it to escape. We'll see. Not that it'll matter over much. It looks like this pile of archers is pretty much done for. More Skaven slaves are heading down that hillside and opening up more space for the rattling guns to continue mincing the poor enemy infantry. And glorious. Another Doom Rocket coming down from the Engineer. More volleys, but it does look like this battle is pretty much ours. The bounce power at about 80%, maybe 85% now. A few more shots coming in from Marcus Wulfhart, though our Chieftain and Warlord have found Jorah Grimm, especially since he was taking so many shots from those rattling guns to bring down, which is unsurprising as he has 30% physical resistance and 75% missile. So he has max amount of missile resistance. Which is why the rattling guns couldn't bring him down. But that's alright, they can still destroy the enemy infantry. And they do so with gusto. Marcus Wulfhart's still out here, still firing away, but alas, the rest of his armies are pretty much done for. And maybe we could snipe him a little bit, slow him down at the very least, with the suppression from the rattling guns, though I think our Jezzails have at this point run out of ammunition. And it looks like, though he has the massive amount of missile resistance, Mr. Jorah Grimm is not able to fight on par with the Warlord and the Chieftain, and will book it on out of there. The last of the enemy infantry, missile, and melee alike will attempt to charge forth. I'm not sure why Wulfhart is facing away from us, but I suppose it doesn't matter. The poor archers dying in droves as soon as they get close enough for the rattling guns to fire upon them, and I do believe with that, the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. If you're wondering why I didn't specifically target Mr. Wulfhart, it's because we potentially want his defeat rate on multiple lords, so we're going to let him live, but destroy the vast majority of the rest of his army, like so. And of course, as soon as the enemy is out of range, we'll chase them down with all the clan rats and Skaven slaves and whatnot, but can do so off screen. Oh, sorry about that, I had to move my cat, and I thought I could do it while the thing was loading, but apparently not quite. Anyway, well done to Mutant and his armies in general, if we count Vermage here. Got a free crown of command for our trouble, and more or less destroy The enemy forces a little bit of damage on the Warp Bronze Company, one of our units of mini gunners, they're rattling gunners, but primarily from Kalara, who was being really annoying with her arrows of Kurnos and focusing them down. Great job to the Teeth Breakers. They are a regiment of renown for good reason, after all, though the Predators did keep relatively close, at least in terms of damage dealt, if not kill count. It depended on which one of them were attacking units directly, and then which one of them were attacking the enemy single entities. And though they have few kills, the snipers did snipe with 26k damage of their own, and Mutant was running around and they were I don't know, trundling around on that thing in the background, just causing absolute havoc all over the place. Anyway, well done to everybody. We're gonna take the money because once again we're going to spend all the money recruiting in a couple of turns. It looks like, well, I thought for a second the Marcus got the plague. Can Vermich at least get the plague? Somebody get the plague, please. Oh, how far are you gonna move? Damn, I was gonna... wait. Damn, wait, is Vermich unable to reach him? It'd be unfortunate if he can't. Ooh, it gives us range as well. Oh, damn, everybody needs this trait. Range and missile strength. That changes things. We might actually have to get this trait on Marcus. Huh. And missile resistance for the Lord, which is a good for me. This is a very good trait. Man, traits are so... They're such a crapshoot. Some traits are absolute garbage and you just don't care. Like the, for example, only in the sea trait. Who cares? But this is just like a universally good trait. And then sometimes they go way overboard, like when Tamarkan was introduced. This absolutely bonkers, insane trait that everybody was farming until they nerfed it. But anyway, let's put Mr. Vermich right here. Man, if we acquire this trait for Vermich, we might actually have to make him a proper stack as well. You're gonna go here. Oh, now we get the ambush. Did we need the ambush to win that other battle? No, but nonetheless, it's the principle of the thing. Auto resolve. Probably could have checked what the damage would be, but by the looks of it, it ain't all that much. Sell those guys up, back up to... Huh? Oh, I never closed that, did I? I was like, why did I say... How am I saying the Crown of Command thing again? Man-Thing Slave, a Relic Sword... Ooh, speaking of Man-Thing Slave... who is in... Oh, Toxide's here. We could increase the money generation at Oishul. Can only Lords carry them? No. Currently with the Mutant has one. Put one in on Strick the Fabricator, and then put one on... whatever your name is, and then that'll increase the money in Oishul while we recruit there, or in the Lost Valley in general. Anyway, the Mutant, just to double check, you were the one who got this trait. Hunted down, yes. So now, we're going to move you in to reinforce and have Vermich acquire the trait as well. Auto resolve, wait. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna kill our weapons teams. I had to check. Let's be careful here, and that kind of fixes our food. Beautiful. Since it was starting to drop. Sell those guys off again. Free Charmed Shield as well. And... oh, okay. Another Man-Thing Slave. Alright, let's put that one on... There's Hunted Down. And keep the Charmed Shield for now. We're going to take that off you later. You... Casualty Replenishment +2. It'll be good, but... funnily enough, on the... Well, because of the upgrades that we get, the techs we get, it shouldn't be all that necessary for the Plague Monks in general. But anyway, it's the good thing about those things are the... you need to heal? What's that if we move you next turn? You know what? Okay. The good thing about those are the capacities, but anyway. You can stay right here. We'll have Vermich raid. I would have loved for you to raid as well, but you don't heal while raiding. Oh. This gives us an additional 300 gold per turn, which isn't much. It also depends on how long until we declare... Oh, they're not gonna like the raiding, that's for sure. If we piss them off enough, we should probably move Pustin down here to Kayak so that he can defend that, and then maybe somebody to Sentinel of Time as well. Anyway, we'll think about it. For now, just raid. At least for a turn. We'll pop you into a stance later. Toxide is fine where he is. Try to pick up that plague, my little rat friend. We are moving into the next Pox tech here. But we do have Unplagueinated armies, so in theory we shouldn't be losing Pox. Well, I mean, we lose 1 per turn, but we shouldn't be losing more than that. Pestilens is good. Boilrolk. Keep heading up north. I also want to see what's going on out here, so may as well. And Kugath Finder. You have found a Kugath, meaning you've got others to find now. Go this way. You're gonna have to move out here to find Clan Moors, and then here to Rictus, and then all the way to Molder. You're probably not going to bother going for Skaven Blight. We'll just send somebody else there. Alright, and I believe that's good. Next up, we got buildings to build yet again. Lost Valley will start with you, nothing to do. The Southern Sentinels, we are going to... Okay, for a second I thought it was almost tier 5, but now we're still okay. You're good, Koken Plains. And stay in efficient planning, good. Night Forest Road, you are fine as well for now. The Capes are fine as well for now. River Curveza, you're gonna keep building. Gonna get Itza up and running in good order. And we're already at 328 growth. In a few turns. Yeah, the growth will rise massively. Gotta love how the insane amount of growth on the Skaven. It's one of the best things about their faction. Just because you don't have to wait so long to get elite units, you just have to be able to make enough money to get them out there. Anyway, Spinus Sotek, you need to actually switch to expansionist planning. Curveza is an expansionist as well, and the Sacred Pools will be upgraded next turn. I guess we could get the Rattling Warren here. And Ian, you have 3 more turns to attempt to spread the plague. I guess we'll move you to Itza next turn to try to spread it to Itza because it's sort of central to our territory. Really hoping that Skrolk picks up a plague again before, you know, before the next round of Pestilent rights. Lord not moved, unsigned skill points, Garrison not moved. Garrison not moved. Something about the Garrison, and assuming that there's nothing else to do, which there appears to not be. We're looking good. Alrighty, end turn. Probably could have leveled the mutant, but we're fine.
Great victory.
Alrighty, I'm really excited to start recruiting all those weapons teams. More snipers, more rattlings, warp fire throwers finally, and we gotta build more of those weapons burrows to get their capacities up. I just love warp fire throwers so much that I'm probably gonna put them in multiple armies, because they're probably my favorite Skaven unit. I mean, the Doom Wheels and well, there's a lot of fun stuff in the Skaven roster, but there's just something about a good old-fashioned warp fire thrower. Desert is a... Oh, damn. Okay, I guess they really didn't like the rating, but frankly, preemptively attacking us may not be the worst thing for us. We're certainly willing to fight. Don't call the Flaming Scribes to help, because... if they attempt to... Ooh, maybe we can ambush this guy. If we attempt to help, they might sail down here and steal territory from us. King Ibiamos, we're going to try to deal with you by moving you to kayaks, I guess. Especially since you're raiding our territory. He's raiding us right back. How dare he? So rude. Technology, army receives plague, vermich, and that's the only one. Oh, come on, plagues. Why are you doing this to me, man? 2 turns. Alright, go back to Itza. Get back to Itza. Try to spread that plague. Toxide did not pick the plague up from Ashlodal. The shame. A crying shame. Skrolky, you're going to Oishul. You can't quite reach it. Now you can. And martial planning means we have the campaign movement range here. Toxide, you're going to follow Skrolky around. If only our other rat friends could get some plagues going, we could steal those plagues from them. That would be swell. I don't think I've seen Clan Spittle use the plague right, though, so I don't know what they're doing over there. But it ain't plaguey enough. So we have 2 owned armies with plagues. Now we have 3, but how long does the mutants plague still gonna last? 1 more turn. You've got it for 2 more. You've got it for 5 more. It looks like the pox samples are more likely going to balance themselves out. Most likely going to balance themselves out unless we can spread those plagues. Golden Colossus. You have a solid pile of defenders. Not so solid if we can try to ambush Mr. Beheadson. So, mutant, go right here. Into ambush in our own territory so that you heal at the same time, and we'll move Vermich, still in raiding, because we don't care about healing the Skaven slaves, right there. Well, let's see if Beheadson will fall for it. Also, Vermich, maintain your skill points as they are. They're fine. I guess we're going to go back into harsh production quotas, get that growth up and running. We don't really care about the clan rat reduction because we're not really using clan rats right now. Frankly, clan rats kind of occupy a space where the most of the time where you're using them, you may as well just use Skaven slaves because you're just using them to throw droves of them at the enemy so that your weapons teams don't, you know, get attacked. We will, however, make a couple of armies that are focused on buffing clan rats, including with a few frontline rats. So, yeah, anyway. Kuget Finder. Go find some rats. The mutant is in ambush, and we're good. Alrighty. And we've got one more turn until we get the recruitment going. Beautiful. You just have to be careful about how we do this. I wonder if we should move to Subaton and recruit here so that Skrolk could then jump down here. We do need somebody to take the Dust Gate and the Copper Landing. I suppose it depends on whether Skrolk manages to grab the Golden Colossus or not. Not that there's much there. Oh, there's also Rikarth, though we don't know where he is. And when Marcus Wulfhart recovers, we need to go and have Skrolk kill him. Ideally, we want his defeat trait on Toxide as well. There's a lot of use for that trait for the Skaven. But anyway, building upgrade available, yes. Once again. Lost Valley. You are fine, or remain so. Kulkan Plains. You've got 2 more turns, so you're fine for now, but not for too much longer. Kayaks is fine, though being raided. Capes are fine. We're going to start with upgrading Quetzal, because Quetzal is missing its Taskmaster's platform, and we need another one. But you can stay in expansionist planning. Or can you? It's going to take 2 turns anyway. I mean, we could pop you into efficient planning for 1 turn. Go for it. I check all of these every turn anyway. And Warren for you, Thrice Cursed Peak, and then you can leave expansionist planning for exploitative planning for a turn. Sacred Pools, let's upgrade you. Nest Lair. And minus 19 means you will probably rebel at some point. Diplomacy. Clan Spittle wants to be non-aggressive. Now, we were waiting for them to betray us so that we can attack them. Poxmakers are still looking okay, but not yet ready for that non-aggression. 11k. 11k for 3 points. The AI is being silly at this point. Our empire isn't so powerful or so big, it's just that we have a lot of treasury that we've been saving. Nonetheless. There's too big of a disparity between how much stuff is worth to the AI versus how much stuff is worth to the player. But anyway, outpost upgrade, no. I know that we have the 6,000 gold, but we're about to spend, like, all of it. It's expensive to recruit a lot of these things. Also, I want to see something. Skrolk, while you're here, recruit a single Skaven Safe Spear. I want to test something. Sometimes when you preemptively recruit stuff, you know what, and recruit a Skaven Slave Slinger. We're going to delete them next turn. Sometimes when you recruit stuff, you sometimes get that quest that's like, recruit more stuff of this variety and then we give you bonuses. That's what I want to see if we can't get. It would be lovely. Especially in combination with the Dominating Scheme. I assume that Skaven do have that quest. I think every faction has it, but I'm not 100% on it. Anyway, Mutant, let's level you up because King Behedsen's probably gonna come for you. Ooh, Weapons Engineer and Brass Orb. Fantastic. You're getting ready for your additional Jezzail's WARPFIRE throwers and Rattling Guns, plus Vortex, free Vortex from that Brass Orb, which is nice when used in combination with the Warp Lightning spam. Blade Shield for you. Metastorm. Probably not going to stay in the Mutants army, but we can put him in one of the Warlord armies afterwards, especially now that both of the Warlord armies are going to get their own armies. Originally made as frontline rats, but I'll use them as they are. Minus 10 wins a magic power reserve. I don't like that. Let's go for Sapper to increase our missile unit speed as we are trying to head towards extra powder. Alright, and I believe we're good to go to end the turn again. Oh, I guess we could have... No, wait. I was about to say we could have leveled Vermich, but there's no need, or at least no use for doing so. Because he's saving up to rank 10 to get the additional food generation that warlords can get at that rank. Alright, King Behedsen. Will you give it a try? Will you give it a die? I guess you're already dead, but anyway. And Hellkeek, what you gonna do? You want that non-aggression pact? No, we're gonna start raiding you shortly. And same with the Vampire Coast, and Behedsen decided not to go for us. That's disappointing. Copy the symbols. We could take another chromatic armor, which is a solid buff. Or we could copy the symbols, essentially saving us for 10 turns. This is most likely save us 2 turns on several techs. The thing is, it doesn't do anything for our plague techs, but it will take a turn off the other techs. Chromatic armor is really solid, though. I really like using those melee attack reductions from glittering scales. Wish it didn't cost so much, but I think it's still worth it, especially for basic armies like this. Although, don't get me wrong, copy the symbols does tempt me. Anyway, let's give this a read. While looting a minor lizardman... Well, wait, we already... Last time we got this, it was the same exact text, so let's confiscate it. We have the cash. Ambush foiled for mutant. Oh, game. Come on now. We could proceed to the Copper Landing with Mutin. King of BMOs is outside of kayaks. Well, there's no way you're taking a walled settlement, that's for sure. We can't attack him with just Skaven slaves, because there's no way they can kill the Ushabti or the Tomb Guard without a mage in there. Dominating Scheme and Pestilens Scheme are up and running. Itza got the plague, Ian. Yes, you're doing it. You're doing it. Good job, buddy. You got it for one more turn. We could try to spread it to Quetzal then. And then move back up to the Sacred Pools afterwards. I suppose, you know what? I should have moved to... somewhere that isn't in the same province. But oh well. Someone receives plague. There's that chromatic armor. Skrolk. We are going to pop the dominating scheme. I know we should pop the pestilence scheme, and we will, but this one has to take priority right now. Perform right. And also keep our food generation in a decent place while we don't have Skrolk fighting. Then, Skrolk... Oh, look at all that recruitment capacity. It's a beautiful sight. Alright, delete the 2 Skaven slaves. Plague Monk Sensor Bearers. You can recruit them at rank 5, which isn't anything crazy, but it's solid. Now, the question is, how many of them do we need? Skrolk doesn't actually reduce the... We don't want Skrolk recruiting for more than 2 turns, because he's a busy rat. I think we'll send him to Subaton. I got an idea. Is it a stupid idea? Maybe. Just think about this. Assuming that we can get rid of King Ibiamos. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Talk side, since Skrolk has to stay here to recruit because he has the additional... he has additional ranks, which are fairly important for these guys, since that gives them additional melee defense. We're going to have you take the army from Skrolk. The entire army. Like so. It's obviously going to make it 10 times more expensive, but... We're then going to move you into the Sentinel of Time, and we'll use you and Pestin together to take out King Ibiamos and move out up here while Skrolk is recruiting. Skrolk is going to move to Subaton, out of which he should be able to use his underway stance.
Claimed by Pestilens.
To get to the Copper Landing or down to the Golden Colossus, depending on how we do it. Then you... Ooh. We have any more Warlock Engineer capacity? No, not yet. Oh, we're 2 out of 1. Oh, it's because we have the new guy. Yeah. Alright, that's fine. We'll deal with it. Skrolk. Now, you need... I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guys. I'm not sure that's the exact right amount, but we'll do 5 for now. Then we're going to want to get 2 warp oh, they take 1 turn, so we don't necessarily have to do them right now. We'll want 2 Warplug Jezzails to join the Natty Bubos. We have the 2 Rattling Guns available. We want all 3 Warpfire Throwers. And this is getting expensive already. We could get some Plague Claw Catapults and have somebody else, for example, recruit the Warp Grinders, but... I'm gonna do 2 more Plague Catapults. They're cheap and we can recruit them at high ranks. And the thing is, they have a place in multiple armies. Oh, you know what? Maybe we'll have another Lord recruit them. Let's instead get a couple of the Poison Wind Mortars. Can't say no to those. I'm gonna leave the Plague Claw Catapults for now. And instead go for the Warp Grinders next turn. This will at least more or less max out the Mutant's army. I'm not sure we're actually going to give him the Poison Wind Mortars. Though he does, I think... He doesn't buff them via weapons engineer, so he's better off using the Jezzails essentially as artillery. And the Warpfire Thrower is his main line. The Encased Warp Engines does give additional armor to the Poison Wind Mortars, but it's 10 armor for a unit that's super fragile, so it hardly matters. I'd rather combine them with Plague Claw Catapults in another army, most likely Talksides, because he has that Boom Master, and we can use him to carry them around. Anyway, that was a lot of thinking. Too much thinking. Well, I want to do some fighting. Boil Rolk. Probably should have set you out to sea, but anyway. Too late now. Kugath Finder. Go find us a Kugath. Wait, you found the Kugath. Find us everything but the Kugath. Huston, stay here, my friend. Go into regular stance, though. And... Mutin and Vermich. Now, the question for you two... We can't leave the Mine of the Bearded Skulls. We could attempt to try... Well... This guy goes here. Did he actually take the Mine of the Bearded Skulls? Probably not. Not with a single army. You know what, Mutin? I'm gonna want you to move into ambush stance. We're gonna see if we can't use you to take the Copper Landing. And Vermich, stay near him and keep raiding. And we can still attempt to use you to force the enemy armies here. And we could maybe try to... Ooh. King Oias will probably go to the Copper Landing, and then we can destroy his army and this stuff here, and then easily take the Dusk Gates, so that'll only leave King Ibiamos. Alright, that I think is good. Maybe raiding those, maybe raiding that little faction actually did work out. Anyway, we got buildings to build, don't we? Well, actually, we don't have buildings to build, but we do have commandments to switch, so it's sort of tangentially related. Actually, it's directly related. I just wanted to say tangentially. Expansion is planning for you, Southern Sentinels / Kulkin Plains. Kayaks is fine, or Kayash. Citadel of Dusk is fine. River Curveza. You will need to go into expansion as planning as well. Spina Sotek. You will need to go into expansion as planning as well. And that's a lot of food generation that will be lost over the turn, but what can you do? You are going to go back into exploitative planning. I should have switched you last round, but promptly forgot. And Ian... Try to spread that plague again. Alright, looks good. Skip. And on the turn, let's see what they do about all this. Huh, did that army disappear or did we just lose sight of it? Guess we're gonna find out. I don't think they're in the order. You want peace now, Rakarth? No. I don't remember what his defeat trait is. I wonder if it's worth... we have to figure out, because we'll probably only get one chance to get it, so... Do we put it on the Mutin, or do we put it on Lord Skrolk? If anybody remembers what Rakarth's defeat trait is in SFO, please let me SF know, because I would appreciate it. Harsh production quota is complete. We're up to 13 pox samples, though the Plaguination is starting to drop. Ian unfortunately failed to re-up the plague, but maybe he can pick it up again for Mitsa. 5% spread chance, I think. Yeah, the plagues lose their infectivity after spawning, right? It starts at 10 and then goes to 5, I think. Or something along those... Excuse me? You're going to Schlansek. Can you win at Schlansek? I don't know that you can. Wasn't that irritating? And you can't reach him. Well, unless... Wait. Going to March stance. If the ambush were to succeed, it might still work. Oh, this is going to cost us a lot of money while being away from Lord Skrolk. What can you do? Skrolk, you're going to have a weird army. You're going to have Mutin's army for a few turns. Oh, speaking of Mutin. I'm just going to get him those warp grinders. Maybe we could spend one more turn recruiting with Skrolk. Is there anything that we could get in one turn here? Not really. So we don't really have the capacity. Oh well. Skrolk can wait a turn, it's not a big deal. Huston, come on, ambush. If this works, this army will not be an issue. It didn't work out well. And I assume you won't be able to travel far enough to reach him anymore. Yeah, I know you're out of range. Oh well. This guy can go to Schlansek, but... the defenders are decent there. We could put a temporary lord there if we want to. We have a lord that we got. We got Toxer with his ominous rumblings, who will eventually be a proper lord. And we do have other Vermintide Harbingers, which we could use for their capacity reduction. And we need more Warlords with frontline rats, since the 2 that we got now have to be proper armies rather than Skaven Slave or Clan Rat carriers. Although, there might be a way to combine those. Let's briefly get the Warlock Master just in here. Just for the Warp Lightning spam. If this guy wants to attack Schlansek, we'll make them separate for it. We still wouldn't win with this army. It needs a mage. Without a mage, it can't. You, move forward. You ambush? What's the likelihood that this guy attempts to go for Togside while he's in March stance? I'm gonna say low, but give it a try. I don't think it's gonna work, but why not? Vermich and the Mutant. So it looks like King Becketson moved towards you, meaning Mutant, try to ambush him. He has a pathetic army, so we should be able to just destroy it if the ambush succeeds. Not that the first ambush succeeded, mind you, and we were up to nearly 3k, now we're at... Oh man, we're gonna go bankrupt. We're gonna be negative shortly. Man, Mutant was all the way down there. Alright, destroy this army real quick. Like so. Is this worth fighting? Decisive victory, low casualties? I'd say not. I'd say not. Sure, he has a Screaming Skull catapults. What would happen in the fight? We'd keep summoning menaces below on top of these Screaming Skulls until they were all gone, and by then the poor skeletons would just get obliterated by this stuff, so kind of not worth the effort. We'll find better fights than that. And we will take the money, because, well, now we need it. Alright, are you able to reach the Golden Colossus from here? No, you are able to go into raiding stance without healing, mind you, but might be worth it to get some of our cash back. Alright, I guess you two are going to the Golden Colossus now. Since you're out here anyway, and we'll send Lord Skrolk briefly down to the Copper Landing and the Dusk Gate, plus these guys to meet back up with him. And yeah, I might have jumped the gun with raiding those guys, because we weren't in position to take advantage of the war yet. But once again, it looks like the AI sensed what was about to go down. Kugath Finder, keep going. I'm just going to keep the Kugath Finder name so I don't get confused. And I believe we're good. Next up, we got techs. We could go for set examples so that we could get into Murder Dissenters. There's also Take Everything, which is solid. There's Scavenging Ruins for the Clan Rad buffs. We were looking towards moving to Nurglitch's command, so we could also just get for the Secrets of the Book of Woe right now. Nothing here I think will benefit us greatly for a single tech, but you know what, might as well go into it. If we lose the number of techs that we need to sort of maintain equilibrium, we start losing pox samples, so we may as well get that used now. You know what I mean. Anyway, Lost Valley. You are good and keep recruiting. You are going to go into Grand Warren and then immediately switch back to Efficient Planning. Public order here is still garbage because we have the breeding pits rather than the platforms, but it's needed. Night Forest Road, you're fine for a couple more turns. Citadel of Dusk for 9 more turns. River Curveza, keep building and get your Taskmaster's platform up and running. Need the money now because we're going to be negative shortly. Ian. We're going to start collecting the income here. Your military presence is still working for us, and maybe you'll pick up the plague. Spinus Sotek, yes to the Taskmaster's platform. We might as well upgrade you two, and then switch you back to Exploitative Planning. What's the income collection? Minus 12. A little bit steep, but we do have that in the pocket if we, well, if we should need it. This place is going to rebel, so we're going to have to move Ian towards it as well. But anyway, for now we're okay. And let's end the turn. Skip, 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 skip. Let's see what these guys all do. They do have a lot of armies out here. But most of them are garbage armies. It is early game Tomb Kings after all, and especially the AI just won't know how to make good use of them. Will King Ibiamos attack Schlansek? Helman Gorst, you want peace, but that will piss off Kugath, so I'm gonna say no. Let Kugath keep doing his thing, as long as we're strength rank 1 now. We are not going to piss Kugath off, because we want his units. Those nice and nurgly units. And they will indeed attempt to attack Schlansek. See, unlike the other one, which was valiant, which was low casualties and guaranteed win, this one's a valiant defeat, and thus worthy of a fight. Go.
die now!
Alright, Toxer, not to be confused with Toxide. Let's see what you can do here. Ooh, looks like the enemy will start the battle off with an immediate use of that Tomb Swarm of theirs and do a decent bit of damage to one of our units of Clan Rats. On the other hand, however, they don't have an artillery, and we certainly do, an artillery piece, and we use it immediately on the enemy Tomb Guard. Ideally, we want the enemy to blob up in various different locations so we can, or not different locations, with various units rather, so we can hit multiple of them with the artillery piece. Now the Tomb Guard are going to have to be the target. We will have to ignore the massive pile of range that the enemy has, as obviously this is just a Garrison stack and we're going to have a difficult time bringing certain units down, namely the Tomb Guard, the Chariots, and the Ushabti. On the bright side, most of the enemy archers are going to be quite fragile. We're going to start off by annoying them with a Pestilent Breath, which will do about, what, half of their damage to 2 units. Of course, the enemy has a lot of archers, but hopefully we'll be able to hit them from various sides. We have 4 units, 2 Clan Rats, 2 Plague Monks deployed on the right flank, 2 more Clan Rats on the left, and then the 2 units of Gutter Runner Slingers with poison coming in from behind. All of them hopefully to combine into preventing all the enemy range units from firing. You're going to get a nice Warp Lightning through the enemy line of archers, but it looks like the Tomb Guard have managed to move in and will now be getting their fight in with the Clan Rats. The Clan Rats, of course, have no chance to hold the Tomb Guard back or really dish out much in the way of damage to them, especially unbuffed as they are. Enemy Tomb King wades in as well and is on foot, which is probably good for him. However, we are going to send our Warlord in to help out against him. And frankly, all of our heroes will probably help out as well, though that's going to be a long contest, especially as the Tomb Lord is a defensive-oriented Lord-type unit. Out here, the Clan Rats have charged at the enemy Ushabti and the enemy Chariots, mostly here just to distract them. They are of the Spear variant, so they do have anti-large, but it won't be enough to do any real kinds of damage. This distraction, however, did allow our Plague Monks to charge forth. One of them has already brought down a unit of skeletal archers, and it looks like the other skeleton archers has called for aid as the as the enemy Chariots have moved in and charged the Plague Monks in the back. Not a big concern for us, however. The Plague Monks are unbreakable and they will fight to the last and hopefully can keep the enemy distracted. Alright, another unit of skeleton archers falls. We have managed to charge on in and collapse the enemy back line by and large, and are moving any additional units in to try to help out, and of course spawning Clan Rats with the menace below. The bounce power does remain in the enemy's favor, however, as we've done basically no damage whatsoever to the enemy Chariots or to the enemy Ushabti. The enemy Lord, however, is in slightly worse shape as he's down to a sliver of HP and will be brought down just as he summons Ushabti to try to help him out. Just a teensy bit too late, those Kopeshes will swing over the corpse of their lord. Lovely. Alright, now we are going to probably have to back off as these guys, well, we don't really have an easy way to delete these Ushabti, and there are still Tomb Guard fighting, though hopefully with sufficient Warp Lightning spam, we can start putting a dent in their numbers. In addition to that, most of the enemy archers have at this point been destroyed. Another nice charge from those Chariots. And the second unit of Ushabti is still fighting here as well. I guess technically this is the first unit. The second one that was summoned around the enemy Lord was a Realm of Souls Ushabti instead. Though once again, we're getting plenty of value out of those Plague Monks, which, because of their unbreakability, will keep all of these units distracted on this flank and not joining the fight elsewhere. Still does look like a couple more of those range units remain in the fight. We even had to send our Gutter Runners with slings into melee to deal with them. But you gotta do what you gotta do. We had to distract every single one of these units after all, lest they continue firing. Ooh, another nice charge from those Chariots. They are very fragile, the Tomb King Chariots, but because of their high numbers, they are able to do plenty of damage. And not the kind of damage the fragile Slaneshi Chariots are able to do because of their Serrated Blade Storm ability and bleed causing, but still pretty solid. Anyway, Tomb Guard now fighting together with Ushabti. That is a solid combination and certainly not one easily overcome by clan rats, especially that one that got split in half and not in a good way. And we do have another unit moving in. Yet another Realm of Souls activation is keeping these guys reasonably healed up, and it looks like our Warlock Master Toxer is down to about half HP after fighting in the middle of this. Fortunately, since the enemy Lord has fallen, the enemy's leadership leaves something to be desired as well, and I'm sure will drop further as soon as all these sort of ancillary units, all the supporting range, and the chariots are off the field. Trying to mob the chariots now, or at least keep them distracted. Of course, they'll probably be able to charge right back into the fray against these rats, but once again, there's always more rats where that came from. And we're not letting those chariots escape, just keep on hitting them. Put a few spears through those wheel spokes if you can. Maybe stop them in their tracks. Oh, and it does look like this unit is healing, but is also disintegrating. The bounce power shifts to about 90% in our favor, and it looks like the chain route is essentially here. The Ushabti continuing to fight on even as they crumble away, but more and more rats are joining the fray as well, and slowly bringing the great constructs down. Beautiful, and with that only the... Oh, wow, that... well... It's a Garrison plague priest, we don't really care, but he certainly got pretty badly beat up. The last unit of summoned Ushabti still in the fray together with those Tomb Guard do get hit nicely with that Warp Lightning, however, as they were very much blobbed up. And that means the last of them will fade away, and in seconds, the battle will be ours. Probably could have used a little bit more focus fire from the Gutter Runners Slingers on the Ushabti, as once again we don't really have anything else that was able to damage them here. Still, I absolutely love watching the Ushabti fight those Kopeshas. It just works. I like how they can combine them into a single weapon just for a few hits, just to be fancy about it. Alright, looks like the Ushabti will fall, topple to the side. The Ushabti are gone, and the Tomb Guard will follow, giving the battle, Pyrrhic though it was to us, but hey, it was just garrison commitment, what do we care? Alrighty, that was pretty darn fun. I think if I were to play it again, I'd change the way that I use the Gutter Runner Slingers with poison a little bit. Rather than sending them around to annoy the enemy, I probably would have kept them nearer to our front line so that we could use the slings to actually damage those chariots and bring them down. They're rather fragile after all, and that would have helped us in not allowing them to rack up quite a few kills and kill numbers. At the end of the day, though, the numbers told, as they always do when you fight the Skaven, see end times, or actually don't. Sell off those captives. Lovely. Bordalo Errant destroyed? Huh, go figure. Well, I guess we won't be acquiring the Alberic trait. I don't know what it is, or at least I don't remember it, but it probably has some stuff to do with the sea. Anyway, Scroll of Power for Toxer. Good for Toxer. And miscast base chance for Lore of Plague. That's great. Combat. Oh, now we frickin' get this. Maybe it has nothing to do with actually recruiting stuff. That's what I wanted to pop. Well, actually, I wanted to pop the missile infantry rather for the weapons teams. Although, assuming that it actually buffs the weapons teams. Could have reduced those. Reduce that stuff more. But at this point, we probably can't afford any more troops. We can get the warp grinders, but that's about it. Assuming that we get them with Lord Skrolk and not somebody else, because Skrolk can move right now. But it's not like we have anybody else that's... Well, I guess we could use Toxer for this purpose. Jump him to the Southern Sentinels and then rush him towards the Sentinels of Time. He is costing us 5 food per turn, but at least this way everybody can move and Skrolk can, you know, not waste his time. Alright, let's move you both. You're gonna go here. Kayaks is still okay. Oh, speaking of kayaks. Oh, I didn't switch the commandments, did I? Or I didn't build it? Well, darn. Okay, well, expansion is planning for you. And I thought I was being so careful. Both of you go up here. We're gonna move to the Dusk Gate. Skrolk, you're gonna move right now. with this army, such as it is, and we're going to pop you...
I am the Plague Lord.
Oh man, you could travel far, but I guess since these guys are going to the Copper Landing already, we'll just pop you right here in the midst of all of this, down to 410. We're actually negative, it's just that these guys are raiding, which is keeping us positive, sort of. You're going to besiege the Golden Colossus, and Vermich, you're going to move in as a reinforcement. Frankly, there's really not all that much here. They do have a lot of constructs, but that doesn't really work against the Mutants army. Anyway, let's do this. We do have another little Marcus army floating around as well. Alright, heal up while you do this, minus 643. Yeah, that's the issue with building so many new things. Overrun them? We're working on it, game. We're working on it. Ian, you did not pick up another plague. There may be a hidden stat on you that's preventing you from picking up the plague again, however. I'm not entirely sure. Itza has it for 3 more turns, though, so the opportunities continue. We got 7 of those pox samples. Unlikely we'd reach 15, which is what we want for Nurglitch's command and that plus 10 hero recruit rank, but we'll give it a shot. Anyway, Ian, stay where you are. Boilrolk, keep moving northward. And Kugat Finder, you've got a Clan Moors to find, which you should encounter here at Death Pit. And Trashrath the Ashen, which probably won't be happy about us allying with the rats, but anyway. Rats. Karazakarak, we'll declare war on him. What if our clan worms? Not worth it. They won't trade, so we just want the non-aggression pact. And declaring war on Karazakarak will probably endear ourselves to Rictus as well as Moors, so it's probably the way to do it. Plus free money, which we certainly need. I'd really prefer the trade agreements, because we're gonna need those, because our recruitment spree. And there's Rictus. Oh. Guess declare war on the Knights of Calador. Alright, there we go. They're not going to confederate, but we got to keep their relationship with us growing over time so that we can hopefully... you're at war with Goldtooth now, eh? So that we can hopefully... Nice. Ooh, wait. -7 for the defensive alliance. It looks like Goldtooth is relatively strong. If he declares war, or if somebody else declares war on him, we might be able to join up. And since he's fighting Goldtooth, there's a decent likelihood he'll be getting into a fight with the Western provinces, which would work for us. Yes. Anyway. Was that the only thing that we had to do? It looks like it is. Now, we do have to build buildings, but we do have to be careful about it now, since we aren't in the money as we were before. Kulkin Plains, you are good for 1 turn. Night Forest Road, you're switching now, so keep switching. Itza, we're going to go for Shotel next. Or do we go for the gold mine at Itza itself? You know what, go for the gold mine at Itza, delete the Warren here, upgrade the Overseer's Lookout, we'll replace the Warren with the Warpstone Generator, or the Arcane Generator, which will make the gold mine generate more cash. Alright, Citadel of Dusk, you're fine, Mine of the Bearded Skulls, you are in exploitative planning, and in theory you should switch to... Expansion is planning for at least a turn. Or we could collect the income, because you're at 0 now, and just allow this thing to be built up over 3 turns, rather than 1. I mean, I suppose losing 1 turn isn't that big of a deal either, but on the other hand, we need you to generate food for now, because we're just sort of balanced with the army upkeep and settlement upkeep right now. You know what, just build this over time. It's fine. You're gonna go into expansionist planning as well. And I believe we're good. Alrighty, next up we take a tech. And the tech that we take is not Nurglitch's command, but I guess set examples. The extra leadership +2 is nothing, but the murder dissenters is going to be helpful. We should also get these buffs for the clan rats and the Skaven slaves, but we'll get to it eventually. The regular non-plaguey techs, the non-plague monk techs, aren't really as important to us at the current time. Another scab scarred, good. Good. And get so many of these guys. Too bad they can't steal tech like Warlock Engineers. If they could, well, it would be really, really helpful. Anyway, looks like that's all good, so we're going to skip the rest on the turn and move onward and upward. And I do mean upward as in northward, up the spine of Sotek. Let's see if King Oyas attempts to... What you doing? Ending our non-aggression pact, eh? He is at war with Clan Spittle now, so we can let them fight it out. I think we do have a trade agreement going with him, however, so that even if... Well, he won't attack us until he breaks the trade agreement. And now that we don't have a non-aggression, perhaps it's a good time to... King Oyas. Okay, it makes sense that you ran from Skrolk, but really, like this is how you chose to do that. Pathetic. Bell Polisher, wow. All the Bell Polishers in the world. Toxide. I need you to hit the Dusk Gate. Yeah, it's worth sacking. We get a lot more money from sacking it with Skrolky, though. Alright, Skrolky, go here. Like so. And we'll redo this once we swap out the units. Then, wait, can Toxide... Oh, Toxide. You can swap units right now. Yes, you can. Beautiful. Alright, go here. And then we can hopefully use Pestilens to occupy the place. Yes. Alright, Toxide and Skrolk. Now, the way that we need to switch it is thusly. First of all, Toxide, give the entire army minus all the unnamed Plague Monks, who we left unnamed for a reason, back to Skrolk. Skrolk, grab your Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, which gives you... I screwed this up in some manner. Yes, I did. That's the way we're supposed to do it. I was like, wait, it should be 20 out of 20. It was not. Lose the weapons teams, gain the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers. And most of this stuff, we can probably just transfer the extra Plague Monks to somebody. Like so. Alright, now we're positive. Good. Then, Skrolky will sack this place. And let us give... Wait, Skrolky has magical attacks. We could give the Razor Standard to you. These two banners to say you and you. Two of the regular Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are going to get replaced by... We want anointed Plague Monks here as well. If we bring it down by one Plague Priest and by one Plague Claw Catapult, we could do 4 regulars, 4 Sensor Bearers, and then 4 anointed. If we wanted to do it that way. Or keep it to 5 and do 3 anointed. I don't know, I'll think about it. You can get, I guess, the Banner of Eternal Flame. We'll auto-resolve this. Shouldn't be an issue. A little bit of damage. And then sack the place. And then move away for your Artifact Hunter. Good. You can then channel, because you need to start getting your mana back. Oh, 88 out of 215. Skrolky. Unfortunately, the Winds of Magic were poor in wherever we were out here, and that didn't work out so well for us, at least in regards to Skrolky's mana. Huston has retaken the Dusk Gate. We can uncollect the income and go for... Let's start with the Rattling Warrens. Good. Then, Vermich and the Mutin. What do we have here again? Post-victory, low casualties. Meh. I'm more inclined to fight the fights that are a little bit more valiant to defeat. Like, look, we could batter down the walls and kill everything inside. The problem is this. The way we do this is obliterate the walls with the Plague Claws, then we get up on top of the walls and have the Rattling Guns, and the Poison Winds and Death Globes kill the constructs who cannot climb the walls. So the enemy would have no chance, and I think it's not worth our time. I'd rather have a field battle against an enemy that stands a chance. Plus, it would be a non-cinematic because they had the structure there, so yeah. Anyway, you're going to sack this similarly to the other guy. If he had a full stack there defending, then we would have obviously fought it, even non-cinematically, but with that structure, yeah. And Vermich, you can occupy it while Mutant moves forward. We're not wasting food on this. We're good right now. We really need the upkeep reduction. If we drop and lose that, it would not be so good for us. And as we've seen with Itza, the growth is so insane that it doesn't matter at all that we do that. You're going to go into encampment. Ooh. You know what? We're going to pop you into channeling. You won't heal as much, but you're losing mana similar to Skrolky. And you're going to move out here. King Sekara is going to be, well... I wonder if King Oyas is going to try to at least move to the Copper Landing. He could also try to bypass us and head down to Kayaks, which would be somewhat irritating, but whatever. Kayaks, speaking of you, going to Efficient Planning, or back into Efficient Planning. Toxer, you are going to go to the Sentinel of Time, where you will recruit 2 Warp Grinders, while we still have the Dominating Scheme for 2 more turns for Mr... Actually, wait. He probably wouldn't be able to get the Sabaton, so yeah. I was just wondering whether we could build a couple more Plague Claws while we're at it. They're very cheap, and, well, maybe not very cheap, but they are cheap, and they're going to be more useful than Skaven Slave Slingers in all of our sort of basic armies, and we need our Warlords to be able to function without them. So, we have this for 2 turns. Let's start with 4 more Plague Claws that we can distribute to various lords. Not Skrolk, but other lords.
Lord Skrolk.
Maybe 5. I want 1 at least to be given to... Wait. If Toxide is going to command an army, assuming that we keep the Poison Wind Mortars with him, maybe some Skaven Slaves, or maybe even Plague Monks. He is named Toxide, after all. We could make him like a Poison Wind guy. Because I think the Engineers can't buff Poison Winds, or at least they don't generally. Which does kind of work still. Although, you know what? I don't like the name Toxide because it's a common name and the name generator keeps giving us various Toxides. And the only real clones around are Mutant. We could make some kind of variant of Toxide. Toxicus... Toxus... Oh, wait, you know what? We will take a name from the name suggestions. Is there anything specifically for a Grey Seer? Yes, this one's for a Grey Seer. Niviventer, which in my notes apparently says it's a genus of rats, so that's nice. Niviventer, I hope I spelled that correctly, because I can't read my post-it. Anyway, and... Toxicus. I don't know, if I have maybe something better than Toxicus, or I might use another name and combine it with another name, and we'll just do that for now. Anyway. And just so that I don't have to keep thinking of him as Toxide, because there's going to be other Toxides. There already was another Toxide, at least one. And there's a Toxer, too, for the love of... You see, it's going to get confusing. Yeah. Build 1 more Plague Claw. Yeah. Just got to keep ourselves, you know, near bankruptcy at all times. It's just the way we play. You are going this way. You've got yourself a long, long trip to Clan Molder. Looks like Jirajuath is doing pretty decently here. I assume he's at war with Rictus. Which ain't so great for us. Ian, how about that plague? Still haven't picked it up, eh? 2 more turns, 2 more chances, but we do have 2 more turns until the Pestilence scheme is back up and running, so hopefully we can plaguinate all of these armies and start doing Pox Techs again. Building. Boyshul, you are good. For 5 more turns. You're near tier 5, damn. Yeah, once again, gotta love it. You have to go back into expansionists. You have to... You're fine. Oh, I started going through them and then I... Yeah. I got distracted, as I do. You're gonna go for the Overseer's Lookout, definitely get the Gold Mine, and definitely get the Arcane Generator, and stay in expansionist planning. You're gonna be another one of our big money-making provinces. Citadel of Dusk is fine, keep generating food for us. Spinus Sotek is fine, do the same. Sacred Pools, you're ready for your public order building, though Ian in 1 turn will have to move back to you, so let's hope he picks up the Plague right now. And we'll use this place for food generation as well. In fact, next turn we can, once we build the war in here, we can switch off expansionist planning and that public order loss. Also, yeah, you have the trade agreement and you still have the military access. We just gotta piss off both of them enough for them to betray us and then attack them at the same time. Feels lorefully accurate. Anyway, Garrison Lord on the Sand Skill Points outpost. Let's end the turn and let's see what we see. Still do have the money, just not for too much longer. Alright, can anybody strike at us here? Karazakorak, I don't think so, but you know, the AI does have a tendency to favor attacking the player whenever it can, so it's not out of the question to see a massive army moving down here. Ooh, willing to offer us 2,000 gold to peace out now, eh? 2.3k, eh? They're pretty weak. They have 1 settlement and they are at war with Kugath. We could peace out with them. Kugath won't like it, but in 10 turns we'll be able to redeclare war, and I think we're going to take the money. It's one of the benefits of periodically declaring war on factions. Alright, Creator for Ian, Constructor for Mutant, Imminent Rebellion in the Sacred Pools, but we knew about that, and yeah, no plague. No plague for you, sir. Alright, fine, Sacred Pools, let's immediately go for Warren, and then we'll switch you to Efficient Planning, and we'll move Ian Roxborough. Not in... into the settle. Well, actually into the settlement. Fix the public order. We could wait for the rebellion, but at the same time, just deal with it. Because it's a Skaven slave army, so we'd have to destroy the rebellion immediately. We wouldn't be able to wait. Now you are -5. Gold Tooth. There we go. Beautiful. Now we're at war with Gold Tooth, but Kugath is happy with us. Reasonably. Clan Spittle wants that non-aggression, but now we're going to just betray them. And the rest of this looks good to me. 1,000 Maws! We're not able to vassalize you, are we? No. Willing to give us 9k for peace. Oh, it's tempting. It's tempting. Here's the problem. They're holding too much territory that we can't let them have. Yeah, there's a landmark at the Chamber of Visions. And I think they were holding... Yeah, they're holding Walatal as well. And if they're holding Walatal, we can't have it. I would be willing to let them live just on the Golden Ziggurat and the Great Turtle Isle, but that's pretty much it, so, yeah. Anyway, Toxer. 2 warp grinders, please. For the mutant, so that we start losing money every turn again. Gotta have that. Niviventer. We could have you move out here, together with these 2 armies, but there's a decent chance that they'd run. You can't deal with the chariots with just this, obviously. Skrolk, he can move to the Copper Landing, sack it, and take it. In fact, Skrolk, start with that. I'm not gonna have you chase this nonsense down, it's a waste of our time. Go here. And sack this. And I'm hoping that we can have you immediately occupied. Sack it, and if I can click it... Yeah, I got it. Well, not really, but anyway. He didn't move so far that it was a concern. And Luton occupy, please. Lovely. And we will set you up into expansionist planning, and the Copper Desert is ours. This faction is not quite dead yet, but certainly on the approach. Actually, if we sack the Sentinels here... I'm a little bit worried about where the 1,000 Maws are exactly. They really want peace, but they also must have lost an army. You know what, maybe don't sack this, just in case... Well, I can probably still sack it. On the other hand, public order. It's kind of surprising that Skaven can't vassalize other factions. I was kind of hoping to go on a vassalization spree. Would have been nice, but... Just a double check. Yeah, it's not an option. Huh. Odd. Maybe nobody wants to be vassals to the Skaven, as that's just, it just doesn't end well for anybody, except the Skaven. Yeah, take those. I'll resolve. Hopefully Ricard doesn't have like 2 stacks waiting, but this keeps us in decent enough shape to not really care. I think the 300 gold is not enough to concern us, so we're just going to loot and occupy. And gain the additional replenishment. It's not like we had movement remaining anyway. Free Opal Amulet, free Scryer Saboteur, and the Doom Wheel for the Mutant. Yes, he is used to it. As he was on his Doom Wheel, just obliterating folks in the other campaign. We're obviously going to go for engineering skill, as he will be using the warp grinders. I might, over the course of the game, or one later on, replace the warp grinders with a couple of Doom Wheels for him. I'll think about it. But for now, we're good. Just double checking that we don't need anything else. There is the power overload, but I think we want to go to not Gutterize, but Warp Smart as fast as possible as well, so that's fine as it is. Alrighty, anything else? It's starting to look like we may not be able to run into another fight, unless this guy's willing to fight these 2, but I somehow doubt it. Anyway, I guess we have to... Wait. You have to land, because you're dead. Wait, what? I was hoping he'd be able to give us more money, but he is not. So assuming that you have to land, we can just keep these 2 here. Let's move Pustin out of this place and channeling, and then the Niviventer in here. Because he has more expensive stuff that's going to be transferred. You will be able to jump over here next turn, and then maybe transfer some of the stuff over. Alright. I'll give the game one more chance to give us a fight. So let's do one more building, and one more turn, and then proceed. Hexuatl or Heshuatla. We could do... Nah, but the thing is, we're looking to take this relatively shortly. Have we encountered the Slaneshi? I don't see them encountered. Yeah, well, maybe we'll move you up to set up the Undercity here at the ancient city of Quintex. Then... Jade Court. Just out of curiosity. They're willing to give us 1,000 gold for it, eh? We'll have to be careful as to who we fight with and don't. Ooh, wait. We're at 15 pox samples, but we... Wait, how many poxes do we have? We have 2 owned plague armies and 3 plagued provinces? 1? What's the other plagued province? I think that was last turn, as in those provinces are no longer plagued. We just have to make sure that we're not losing... Oh, you got 1 turn left. We're not losing poxes, and we will start after next turn, so you know what? I think we're going to go for Nurglish's command right now. There we go. Now we're at 0, so there's no chance of losing the pox samples, though we do have this up in 1 turn again. Alright. You are good, Kugath Finder. Go to Clan Molder and declare war on everybody around him, and hopefully be friendly with him. Next up, we got... for the love of... Stop canceling. Now we got building yet again. 4 more turns until tier 5. You... definitely go for the Bell Foundry and the Warp Lightning Capacitors. We also need another weapons burrow, or weapons dump, because we need more Warpfire throwers. Always more Warpfire throwers. And I would love to get the Clan Summit, but I think we want to get a Pestilent Knave in this province for the additional public order, and the fact that it's cheap. The other option would be to get a Warp Forge, however, Warp Lock Engineer capacity is only at tier 5, making it very difficult to get Warlock Engineer additionals until we're there, so I think it's better to just go for the Pox Cauldron. And obviously we're gonna get the doggos, the wolf rats, and the rat ogres and stuff. We just don't have the cash right now for it. Anyway, you're good as you are. Keep collecting money and make more. Do we need to reset any commandments here? No, we have to keep upgrading the weapons burrow. Yeah, that's fine. Weapons burrow has 3 tiers, so you're gonna lose a lot of public order like that, but oh well. Kayaks is good. Capes are fine. Mine is fine. Sentinels of Jati. Don't collect the income. Copper Desert. Wait a turn. I guess we could repair the harbor. 410. Ugh. Expensive, but, well, we do need harbors. And the rest of that looks good. Alrighty. Alrighty. Who are you at war with right now? Just the other rats. Alright. Just out of curiosity, will you join the war against the Hunts Marshal? No. You are terrified of the Hunts Marshal, apparently. Sad. Alrighty. Yeah, we can't. We can't build more melee troops. We just can't. And assign skill points, buildings, outposts, and turn. Let's see where King Oyas goes, because I'm willing to bet he's about to say oh no instead. Oh no's. Rats are everywhere. You shouldn't have declared war on us, man. You should have just called it the cost of doing business and allowed the rats to raid you. It sounds like the majority of the plagues would be a threat to you. They have ended our military access pact. Ooh, they're looking to betray us in 10 turns. Good for them. Good for them. We'll send an army up to deal with them. Hero crew rank +10 for plague priests. Beautiful. And we got that combat focus because I guess we built the... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Brutish Overseer game. Ouch. This was not a good time for it. 15% construction cost increase, faction-wide. Well, it looks like we won't be able to get this tier 5 until, because it's already expensive as heck, until that's up. Oh well, what can you do? Did you land? You did indeed land. Goodbye. You know what? We've got new units here, Warpfire Throwers and Poison Winds. I think we fight this, just for fun. We will have to be careful of the Tomb Scorpion, but nonetheless. Let's move you here. Like so. And let's hope that you don't appear on the map too far away from the rest of them. Wait, Pestilens, you don't have any levels? That's surprising. You will probably need points. Specifically, well, we could use Scorch here. Let's get Scorch. Do you have mana? You do have mana. And you do have items. And I'm too lazy to redo items for you, so we're gonna fight. Go. Nice. Close victory. We will take the... Oh, right. The Lichbone Pendant has to be given to somebody. But for now, we'll pop it onto one of the warp blocks, which can hopefully snipe that Tomb Scorpion before it does anything. And then the damage on the Plague Monks. Should be a fun fight. New stuff after all. Just gotta be careful about the chariots. Go.
Yes, fight, kill.
Alright, here we go. We got some of those good weapon teams. Now, not that any of the weapon teams are bad, but yes, the good stuff. The units of Poison Wind Mortars are very, very nasty, and we'll get to see them in action fairly shortly. Of course, we also have the WARPFIRE throwers, and that we've definitely been waiting on, which are just so fun. How do the rats kind of lunge at each other as part of the team? Kind of surprised they're not stabbing each other in the back a little bit more often, but I guess when you when only one rat is incapable of wielding a weapon, not much choice in the matter. Adorable. Anyway, and then of course we also have the 2 additional units of Warplug Giselle, so of course we saw the Natty Bubos variant a little bit earlier. Now, we are going to wait a little bit for the reinforcements to arrive on the field, so let's speed it up while we get them into their positions. And the enemy is spread fairly widely, but that shouldn't really matter to us as we have a really nice position in this particular battlefield. The hill with the impassable terrain, the sort of moat that we got going on, as the enemy will have to slow down to cross it, and the fact that every one of our range units up here is going to be protected. It's all very nice. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off by trying to annoy the enemy with a few volleys from our Warplug Giselles. Frankly, I like the green bullets better than the purple bullets of the Regiment of Renown. It feels more Skavenly appropriate. Nice warpstone bullets. Alright, and it looks like that volley annoyed the enemy sufficiently to the point that we're not going to be able to volley anymore, so away we go. And here comes the first volley of the Poison Wind Mortars as well. Not super relevant against the chariots, of course, but the much slower moving infantry are on the way as well. Alright, and with the reinforcements being made up of tons and tons of Skaven slaves, we can feel free to burninate our own units. So here comes the charge of the chariots, and even as they charge, our WARPFIRE throwers will, well, set to burning. This is going to hurt us just as much as it's going to hurt the enemy, I'd wager. There we go. Oh, you gotta love fire units. Let's see what this does. And I keep it in slow motion so that it's essentially a single volley. I'm pretty sure this is going to effectively destroy this unit of Skaven slaves, yeah, pretty much. And it'll take about half of the HP off of the enemy chariots, I'd wager, especially once the second unit completes its volley. Yeah, about half of the HP. Certainly a worthwhile trade, and as the meat shields are burned to a crisp, these Skaven slaves, I mean, we can get more shots off onto those chariots. Alright, and the enemy continues marching forward. The chariots will attempt to charge back on in, but will be brought down by the WARPFIRE throwers. It may not really be what they're made for, but they can certainly do well enough to dish the damage out. Main enemy host is marching towards us under fire from the Poison Wind Mortars as well. And we're finally starting to get all those units that make the Skaven really scary, which is a great thing to see. Looks like the enemy Lord, I believe, has decided to charge on in, gets hit with both WARPFIRE throwers and loses about half of his HP in a single volley. Gotta remember that flamethrower units, even though they're ideal for mobs of enemies, they're really quite good at dishing out damage to single entities as well. You gotta be wary of them. And there we go, keep on burning that Lord, who's down to about a third of his HP, but of course the enemy does bring that Tomb Scorpion in as well, and these things are just extremely irritating to deal with that burrow capability that they have. And they will probably be able to tie up at least one of the WARPFIRE throwers, and we're going to try to mob them with as many units as we can. More of the enemy units are moving in. Of course, they are affected by the Poison Wind Mortars effect. Could do a little bit more if we could plagueinate them with our Plague Claw catapults, but they're busy knocking out the enemy's only range units back here. Same essentially thing is going on this side, just with slightly less enemy troops. The Skaven slaves will hold the ground while our warp fire throwers burninate any enemies that attempt to make their way up the hill. And probably several times as many Skaven slaves as our own units, but, well, you gotta burn rats to burn enemies. It's just the way of the world. Alrighty, well, these two units are pretty much destroyed, and with essentially only this one unit of warp fire throwers dishing out damage on the left flank, it should still be relatively okay. Poison Wind Mortars coming down. I'm going to follow that up with a nice scorch through the enemy. There we go. Look at all those beautiful explosions. And we have sufficient numbers of Skaven slaves to actually hold the enemy back while all of our other units dish out the damage. The balance of power drops to about maybe 10% in the enemy's favor now. They do summon their Ushapti, as we have done sufficient damage to them to get those on the field. And ooh, here we go, nice combination. And got that going at last. Both the Contamination and the Plague of Nurgle and the Poison Winds as well. Some solid applications, and even though some of the projectiles will miss, it looks like enough will get to apply the damage over time, which means that the enemy will still die. Out here, the Warplock Jezzails are firing from on top of this hill at the summoned unit of Ushapti. The enemy probably should have attempted to summon those on top of the Jezzails instead. And now instead they're going to get sniped and burned, while the rest of their army gets destroyed by Poison Winds. Alright, they're still standing by the looks of it at about half HP. I believe the enemy lord is in pretty bad shape already as well. Well, continues to be in pretty bad shape as well, as he got burninated pretty hard. Alright, rats just either leaping around or being knocked about by all of our fire. But it doesn't matter, once again, these are just the Skaven slaves and clan rats. And, well, I guess Garrison, or not Garrison, the reinforcing troops, which we don't care about. Down go the last of the Ushapti. The enemy lord's still in the fight, but I'd wager not for long, as he melts away as well. And with that, just the chariots remain. And the chariots will burn fairly well. Too much wood in their construction, unfortunately, for the enemy. Down they go, and the battle is ours. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to have so much fun over the next few episodes with more weapons teams, and of course as we increase their capacities of various types as well. Plus we got to get Doom Wheels and Doom Flayers. Doom Flayers in combination with the melee infantry line is a very, very strong combo, as they can act like monstrous infantry, like Crypt Horrors would among zombies. You can use Clan Rats or Storm Vermin with the combination of the Doom Flayers. But anyway, we'll get to it. Ah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The enemy got what? Well, we probably burned about 1,000 of our own rats in the course of that battle. Or, well, some burned, some poison-winded, and damn, 50,000 and 55,000 damage on those mortars. They're pretty crazy, and I'm excited to see how well they combine with the Plague Claw catapults, and both of them applying a damage over time debuff. The Warplock Jezzails didn't do as much, but they did annoy the entire enemy army into moving towards us, and then promptly were trying to snipe off chariots as well as Tomb Scorpions. 33k damage on one of those Warp Fire Throwers against the slow-moving skeletal, vulnerable to fire dead. They're basically the perfect unit. I love them. And we saw them do quite a bit of damage to the enemy lord as well. Anyway, we will sell those off, and the Viventer Toxicus here will be wiping this faction out for good. Beautiful. Now we just gotta cancel. We just gotta transfer all of those troops elsewhere. Skrolk, can you reach? Oh, no, you cannot reach. Unless we get a buff in movement through the sea. Huh. I wonder. Go here. Nope, we actually move less on this thing. Damn. But we probably want to hit the Great Turtle Isle anyway, so that's still something we want to do. However, we're going to have to do it next... Wait. Construction cost reduction. We're going to have to do it next time around, as we're out of time, and I'm going to have to call the episode here. Next time, hopefully we can get all of this stuff to the mutant so that he can enjoy all of those weapons teams, and with them at reduced cost, plus all of these things to be distributed to the various armies. We do have to be careful, as these guys have both broken their agreements with us, and we will be getting into a massive war with the Vampire Coast relatively shortly, but nonetheless, we'll continue moving up the spine of Sotek with, well, whoever we can, and we'll be looking to try to defend it, maybe to get in a proper stack so that he can fight off the enemy, should he need to do so. Also got to remember to get that Plague Pestilence scheme up and running. Just got to figure out where exactly we want to pop it. Chamber Visions would be a... well, actually... oh, you guys can't reach the Chamber Visions in one turn? That's rude. Anyway, we'll figure all that out next time, so stay tuned for more Skrolk. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the hour-long episodes. If you're into that sort of thing, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.